Government announces a 5% reduction in corporate income tax. Government's MINIMIS program is bringing positive change for online shoppers, and the CAP project prepares to undertake its first simulation exercise. Thank you for joining us for another edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector.
And I'm KimaniSt. Stay with us for details of the headline stories and others after this.
A lot of bathtubs are blamed for bruises. Some staircases are accused of being responsible for broken bones. Doors are occasionally viewed suspiciously as causing lesions. A high percentage of tables are accused of producing bleeding or trauma. Violence against women is a crime, and it's everyone's responsibility. It's inexcusable. If you're a victim or witness of physical or psychological violence or abuse, seek help and denounce the perpetrator.
Thanks for staying with us. When the Labour Party government set about planning for the fiscal year 2014-2015, it consulted with and took into consideration suggestions of several groups and the private sector. Being fully cognizant of the goal of facilitating economic growth, government sought ways to best maintain strong macroeconomic policies and financial prudence while meeting the needs of its citizens. Importantly, the government, which makes it clear that it wishes to work closer with the private sector as a development partner, sought to devise realistic responses to their needs. From several requests and suggestions relating to the reduction and removal of various taxes, one of the measures taken by government is a 5% reduction in the rate of corporate tax. This means that business owners will no longer return 30% of their profits to the state, but 25%. The Prime Minister, in his budget address, explained that government considered that request on the basis that companies indicated interest in reinvesting profits back into these businesses. This move also means that the state will forego an estimated $3.6 million in revenue. The reduction takes place over a 2-year period. In the first year, the adjustments will be 2%, with the 3% being applied in the subsequent year. Honorable Skerritt ended by saying, quote, "What is important to us is that we listen to the population whenever and wherever they speak and respond in the best way possible," end of quote. This measure takes effect for income year 2015.
The Honorable Parliamentary Representative for the Casabras constituency, Johnson Drago, is admonishing parents to encourage their children to do well this school year. The parliamentary representative says government is doing all in its power to simplify life for parents in matters of education. At a village council meeting last week, the parliamentary representative highlighted that this school year, government has spent in excess of $20,000 on uniforms for the students and hopes that this will encourage students to perform their best.
We want to ensure that our young people take advantage of the opportunities given to them by government, and we are maximizing every opportunity to ensure that this happens. But my challenge is with you, the parents. You have to support the government and us in that respect by being firm at home and ensure that your children study, because they have absolutely no reason to fail. Come September, we will be employing 2 staff to cook for our children in Sansowe. First time in the history of Sansowe. Through the NEP. And so with the healthy children that you have, with government now providing them with books, transportation, and uniform, the rest is yours. Every one of our children can learn and can do well.
A steel bending module is on stream to form part of the National Employment Program coming out of the 2014-2015 national budget. Honorable Minister for Employment, Trade, Industry and Diaspora Affairs and MP for the Roseau Valley constituency, Dr. Colin McIntyre, says this new module is meant to add to the scenery of the capital city.
We're rebuilding these walls here in the old traditional stonework done by the electoral office there. We're also doing that. What we want to do this budget, is to put in a steel bending module where we can build the gates for these compounds here to raise the value, to raise the, to give Roseau a facelift. And this is part of the program that the Prime Minister outlined some time ago, where he decided that he's going to make some of his road developments in Roseau. So if we start we are doing our own National Employment Program, where we actually starting our little, Roseau enhancement program. At the same time, training our young people in terms of that traditional style of stone. I like it, it's very good. And stone we have stone in Dominica, we don't have to buy it. Let's train our young men to use it properly, and let's build this country like it was built before using stone. This is one of them we want to do here. Of course, we have the wood module that will come in. All of your folks in the various areas who can benefit from that, train our young men to use our forests properly, teach the science of wood, so we can build proper furniture and help our people.
The National Employment Program will also seek to employ more women this fiscal year.
And our women, we are looking at, adding value to some of our agricultural produce in the form of, say, we can continue doing the dashing, peeling, segmenting, freezing them, get our people to do that, to add value where they can make money and sell the dashing at a better price. Will help the housewives and all the different folks in terms of what we do.
Along with Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica is currently benefiting from a United Nations Development Program and the OECS implemented Community Alerts Project, CAP, which commenced in January 2014. The one-year pilot project focuses on establishing a warning system comprising radio apparatus and other technologies in case of coastal disasters. Acting Program Officer for Dominica, Steve Joseph, informed GIS News on Wednesday that Portsmouth, the community selected for testing this project, is making good progress thus far.
We actually have the server on island, so we have received part of the equipment. And we've identified key persons whom we have brought on board, and we've had series of workshops, series of community meetings to bring awareness to the project. We've developed what is now a community outreach strategy, community education outreach strategy, and we've engaged 2 persons who will be on the ground to work with the schools, community organizations, businesses, the community of Portsmouth to raise awareness on the strategy as well as on the CAP. Hopefully, we will see various products being disseminated, brochures, posters, flyers, the development of our website, Facebook page, and so on, to raise awareness on the intent of the CAP and how it's used and how the community can benefit.
The program officer said that apart from sensitization, the CAP project also addresses disaster contingency plans for the community.
Initially in the project, what we did in Portsmouth is to identify possible evacuation routes as well as safe points. For example, the tsunami inundation zone and the safe mark would be at least 30 meters above sea level. And so anywhere above, let's say, the hospital at Portsmouth would be a safe zone.
A simulation exercise is carried for November 2014. The November drill will allow for evaluation of the system to aid in plans for moving forward. The European Commission has committed to the project funding to the tune of $718,000 US until December 2014. According to Joseph, from 2015, support will be given by the Dominican government as well as other disaster risk management organizations.
We've worked with SEDEMA, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. We work with the OECS as well as UNDP and UNISDR, which is the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. So we have a number of partners that continue to support our initiatives, and this funding also is supported by Australian aid, of course the UK aid, as well as the Canadian aid, so that a number of agencies have actually put funding in the region for disaster risk reduction. And so through that medium, we fund a number of our initiatives. But certainly you have to have the proposals developed, you have to have the assessments done, and this is some of the activities that we are completing right now to ensure that the resources that we spent are spent on the priority areas to ensure that Dominica build resilience to disaster risk reduction and is in a better state to respond to an event if we are threatened.
In other news, the Roosevelt-Skerrit government has recognized that with the advent of online shopping and the Dominica population becoming more aware that goods can be accessed quickly via the internet, a new type of trade and the growth of the courier business is the result. Consequently, to keep up with these changes, standard operating procedures, specifically customs and port procedures, were revised. Those amendments are so far making life easier for online shoppers and customs officers. In the 2014-2015 national budget, the nation's finance minister, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt-Skerrit, revealed the implementation of a new system to improve the efficiency of clearing courier packages. The de minimis program took effect on August 1st. GIS News spoke with Wilford Joseph, Supervisor of Southern Operations at the Customs and Excise Division, who described what de minimis brings to the process of clearing courier packages.
The program is really a regime whereby Customs is able to release packages of a minimum value to the agents. In that case, it is $150. So any packages shopped on via the internet brought into Dominica, once the value is below $150, the customs will deliver it to the agent so that the agent can in turn deliver it to the importer.
De minimis allows for goods valued up to $150 EC, inclusive of the cost of the item, insurance, and freight, to be immediately released to the courier for dispatch to the importer. Other simple requirements also apply.
The items have to be of a non-commercial nature, so and it excludes items such as tobacco, alcohol. Anything that is of a commercial nature is not included regardless of what the price is. If there are no other mitigating circumstances, whether it requires a license or certificate or that sort of thing, once there is no incumbents upon it, then that is released.
Packages can be held for confirmation of the item's value. The implementation of the de minimis program to simplify online shopping for Dominicans means that government is foregoing over $400,000 in revenue for the state. We'll bring you more on that story in Thursday's newscast.
And with less than 1 week until schools across the island officially open, the Ministry of Education hosted a 2-day education workshop meant to equip new teachers for their entry into the education system. Addressing the start of the 2-day workshop, Acting Chief Education Officer Melina Fontaine emphasized the tenacious nature of the teaching profession.
It's a new journey, one in which you have decided that you want to be in a helping relationship. A relationship in which you are going to have the young ones entrusted in your care to grow, not just physically because they're in that growing stage, but emotionally, socially, psychologically. You observe that I have said that you have decided you want to be in a helping relationship. You have decided. That is deliberate. Because I hope that being in the teaching service is beyond a job for you. If that is what it is, just a job, with you waiting for a salary at the end of the month, then you need to think seriously about whether you want to be here, whether you want to be in a classroom. I know you leave school, some of you have just left school, you're looking for a job until you can go and study and so on. That's okay. But with looking for a job, you need to bring the passion that you need to teaching. You need to make it something that you love doing, otherwise the classroom is not for you.
Over the course of 2 days, newcomers to the field will be provided with necessary information to carry out their role as educators. Fontaine noted that teaching is a lifelong process of continuous professional development with rewarding experiences.
Teaching can be a very rewarding experience. You will realize it when you observe your students engaged and being productive. You will realize it when you are correcting papers or projects and you can say, yes, they are getting the concept. You will realize it when you give your parents, the parents of your students, reports on their children, and you can tell them how well their children are settling in and working well. You will also realize it when you work with the students who are struggling, and some years down the line, they return to say thank you because they have succeeded. It is a rewarding experience, and you just have to open yourself to that reward.
The acting chief education officer concluded that despite challenges, education system will impact both students and educators alike once there is a passion to succeed.
In the course of the school year, you are going to be faced with many challenges because caring for children, facilitating their learning is filled with challenges. Some of you may have already completed teacher training, while some of you will try to remember your own teachers and emulate how they managed and taught their students so that you can pattern on them. Whatever your status, you will encounter challenges. The way you deal with those challenges depend on whether you are here for a job or whether you want to be in that helping relationship so that the students given to your care can succeed.
And that's the English segment of the news. McPherson St. Luce is next with Creole Highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Nous, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le ministère de l'Éducation a une session pour éduquer teachers, bagaille, curriculum, management l'école. Plusieurs teachers qui assemblés en l'école grammar school ou la session sur la chaîne. Si l'on chef officier éducation Mélina Fontaine, traitement là bien important, spécialement pour tout l'école neuf qui pour ouvrir lundi.
Nous avons commencé en année neuf, et nous avons les dios avant c'est les grands venir lundi. Nous avons teacher qui neuf, c'est la première fois qu'ils sont allés dans la classroom là. So nous menons pour nous parler avec eux et pour nous dire certains bitins pour commencer. So là ils commencent, c'est pas comme si ils pas connaître rien. Les lundi venir, ils connaître assez, assez bitins pour commencer et commencer bien. So aujourd'hui yo ke parler contre ça qui job là ça job là ni avec sa responsabilité yo avec ses enfants parce que yo ka aller dans la classroom là c'est pour yo connaître yo ni pour faire ça yo ni pour faire pour enfants et apprendre à l'école.
Bagay professionnel aussi qu'il faut faire attention.
Okay, tan moun parler contre professionalism in the workplace. Comment pour yo faire quoi yo kon teacher classroom teacher pour enfants respecter yo. Yo ke also yo ke tan compte comment pour yo préparer lesson yo, comment pour yo faire lesson under class là, comment pour yo manage classroom là. So toutes ces bagages ça là nous ke parler avec yo so les lundi vini yo ke ni gamme pour yo commencer l'école bien.
En d'autres nouvelles, même parlement pour cortège Honorable Reginald Austri qui a fait parole satisfaction projet est accompli en bas plan développement constituency là. Honorable Austri fait parole celle-là pendant l'inauguration village Conks Clifton semaine passée. En parmi projet Honorable Austri mentionné, c'est projet de l'eau Capucin 2 millions de dollars, Chimay Mountain 350 000 dollars, Health Center, Resource Center, et puis l'occasion Héritage Cana. Honorable Austri aussi mentionné programme pour assister mon âge, taper 200 dollars tous les mois, bagay qui annoncé en budget 2014-2015. Ministre Austri fait parole qui c'est travail salam, c'est fondation pour plus continuer en l'autre terme comme un parlement en parmi réhabilitation Chimay, si pas pour habitants et puis pour gagner village là. et du gouvernement qui a joué par le commitment développement constituency là et puis mon communauté là même supposé jouer par ailleurs. En autre nouvelle, un projet pour bas mon information préparation pour si en tous les cas il y a un désastre en l'horizon là identifié pour Dominique ça ou créer disaster warning system. Dominique en parmi des pays Caraïbes qui a bénéficié en bas programme cela. Parole cela sorti au office programme l'office des As Dominique, Mr. Steve Joseph.
Dominique avec Saint-Vincent avec Grenade. C'est bénéficié d'un projet Community Alert Project, un projet pour nous vêtir moun bien bonnet. C'est différents désastres qui viennent affecter nous. Projet ça là, c'est 7100 US pour 3 pays en OECS là. Il a implémenté l'organisation UNDP, United Nations Development Programme, avec Office Disaster Management. En Dominique, nous avons regardé la communauté Guantans pour pilot, parce que Guantans, vous savez, c'est une place qui est bien plate. C'est une place qui est bien susceptible pour tsunami, storm surge, flood, différents désastres comme ça. Comme ça, projet ça là, c'est un système que nous avons développé. Et le système ça qui ça vêtit moun bien bonnet. Avec projet là pour faire moun plus au courant comme ça yo connaître ça pour faire si yo tan alert ça.
Et puis finalement, le département welfare a encouragé Dominicains pour faire report abaissement des enfants qui a pris place en pays là. Parole celle-là sortie de officier département celle-là, Madame Jarna Luce. Département là tient un programme sensibilisation qui a encouragé les gens pour arrêter silence situation celle-là. Luce fait parole comme un monde qui fait report par département là, c'est que celle-là qui traité et puis confiance même n'est-ce yo adversaire. Et de Dominique ni plaisir qui abaissement spécialement sexuel, physique, en parmi d'autres bagailles, yo ni espoir qui a arrêté. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nous nouvelles encore pour à présent. Non, moi, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Tips on reducing your solid waste. Coming up next.
DOWASCO recognizes that clean water is vital to healthy living. Therefore, it spares no effort in providing a clean, safe, and reliable system. Help keep our rivers safe and clean. Do not cut trees along the river banks and do not pollute with garbage, human or animal feces, and chemicals. Think water, think life.
There's a simple strategy to reduce your amount of waste. Start by arming yourself with a reusable water bottle, some grocery bags you can use more than once, and reusable jars and bottles.
Get your 5 R's right. Refuse what you do not need, reduce what you do need, reuse what you consume, recycle what you cannot refuse, reduce or reuse, and rot or compost the rest.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm.
Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector.
And I'm KimaniSt. Thank you for watching.